What does it mean when it is said that God has opened a door or closed a door? If you have been a Christian for any length of time, you have probably heard people talk about God opening doors and closing doors. It is a simple way of saying that God gives us opportunities or sometimes stops us from going down certain paths. The idea that God opens and closes doors in our lives is one of the most comforting and yet sometimes confusing part of walking with Him. We all face situations where something we hoped for doesn't work out. It could be a job we wanted, or a relationship we prayed about, or plans that we thought were perfect. It can feel like a great disappointment, but the Bible shows us that God's wisdom is way beyond ours, and He often uses those closed doors to guide us to something better. The Bible talks a lot about this idea. In Revelation 3, verses 7 and 8, Jesus declares that He's the one who opens doors that no one can shut, and He shuts doors that no one can open. This means that only God has the final say about what opportunities come our way. A classic example is Joseph from the Old Testament. He went through some really tough times. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was later sent to prison, even though he was completely innocent, and it just seemed as if his life was a series of one closed door after another. While sitting in that prison cell, Joseph couldn't possibly understand how these setbacks were part of God's master plan. But later on, Joseph ended up in a position of great power in Egypt and was able to save thousands of people from starvation and death during a famine, including his own family. He forgave his brothers and told them, "You meant what you did to me for evil, but God meant it for good." That's God's wisdom at work. God always knows what He's doing, even when we don't. Even today, Christians experience this all the time. Maybe someone gets passed over for a promotion they really wanted and they don't understand why. They may even feel like God has let them down. But later they may receive an offer for a different job that is a much better fit, or they may come to realize that God was steering them away from a position that would have pulled them away from their family or caused them to compromise their faith and their Christian values. What felt like rejection was really protection. The same thing can happen with relationships. Maybe a Christian is heartbroken after a breakup, wondering why God didn't step in and save the relationship. But down the road, they meet someone who shares their values and helps them grow in faith. And it all starts to make sense. That failed relationship, that closed door, was just God's way of saying, "I've got something better for you." You see, God doesn't just open and close doors randomly. He sees the whole picture, while we only see a tiny part. That is why Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6 says that we should trust God with all our heart and not try to figure everything out on our own. If we do that, He'll step in and lovingly show us the right path. To be honest, trusting God with every door in our lives isn't always easy. But we can be sure that He loves us and knows what's best. When God closes a door, He's not shutting us out. He's redirecting us. So whether a door opens or closes, we can trust that God is guiding us with His perfect wisdom. In the future, when God closes a door in your life, why not prayerfully ask yourself, what character qualities is God developing in me through this waiting period? It has been said that great patience, trust, and perseverance tend to grow best in the soil of disappointment. Let us wisely thank and praise our loving Heavenly Father, not only for open doors, but also for closed ones too.
May you walk in God's wisdom and live well